Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. And these are such wonderful stories tonight. And now I feel bad. I should have put on a real shirt instead of a robe from Amazon. But sorry, it gets very hot doing these. Um, for this story, I'm going to take you guys back to 2006. I know, so long ago. It was a much simpler time when Destiny's Child was still together, and Queer as Folk had just entered reruns, and white people didn't know what twerking was yet. Much simpler time. And I had just graduated from college, and I graduated with an English degree and a short story collection that was going to be published by Random House. Now, Random House didn't know that they were going to publish a story, but I was pretty sure I was going to be able to convince them that they wanted this story. They totally wanted to hear about, college drunken blowjobs. But besides the point, I graduated and I moved back home to New York City, and I moved back home with like big dreams. Like I'm talking like Mary Tyler Moore level of dreams, where like I thought I was gonna like spin around and then throw my hat in the air and it would just freeze and it would be like, you're gonna make it after all. Like it'd be so beautiful. Um, but I quickly learned that New York City is not like that. Instead, the hat just hits the floor and then a cab runs over it, and then another cab runs over it, and then you get splashed in the face by muddy water. So, in the midst of learning that these are not how my dreams are going to come true, I talked to numerous friends about how I can get a foot in the door in publishing. And my friend said, well, what you should do is you should do temping. I don't know if any of you have ever done temp work, but the vast majority of temp work is you go into an office. Well, at the time, what you do is you go into an office and then they make you take a typing test and they are like, do you know Word and do you know Excel? If so, we're going to pay you a random amount an hour. I did that. And at my first temp agency, which was a very nice agency, they got me a job with Latina Magazine and I was working as a research assistant. And I was like, this is so exciting. I'm so happy. I'll be working among other people of color. We're going to be creating these articles and it's going to be really great. And the key thing about temp jobs is that they are temporary. And so I had this job. I was making $15 an hour, which is back then a lot of money. Like $15 an hour, that's like two boxed wines an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like that's pretty good. Like I'm killing it on the Franzia. I'm doing very well for myself. And so the temp job unfortunately ended. And when it ended, I was scrambling for work because if you guys remember, was when Bush the Lesser was in office. And so we were really sliding hard into the recession. So there was no jobs for anyone who just graduated out there. I'm desperately searching for work. And my friend suggests this temp agency, and she says, this place will get you work really fast, no questions asked. And so I signed up for this temp agency, which we'll call Forest Solutions because that is its real name, and it was a very terrible temp agency. And so I go to Forest Solutions, and I meet with a lady named Anna, who is a woman who is has one of those very severe, like short Karen-esque haircuts. Like one of those very like I will either speak to the manager or the cops because you're here, like one of those types of haircuts. And I'm trying to talk to Anna. I show her my resume. I said, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. At my previous job, I made $15 an hour, so I would really like to make that. And Anna says, I think you're a really great candidate, and this sounds very, very good. So, looking through my files, there is a job that I can get you, and the job is for $11 an hour. And here's the thing, I know I was an English major, but I did pass math, and 15 is more than 11. Like 11 is not what I was aiming for. So I tell Anna very politely, I said, well, oh, that sounds great, but I wanted $15 an hour because that's what I made before. $11 an hour, that's not good. That's like 340s an hour, if that, if you're being conservative. And Anna proceeds to yell at me and say, this is a recession. You should even be happy that I'm even offering you this job. Do you know how many people would kill for an $11 an hour job? And she bullies me and scares me because I don't want to end up homeless. So I end up taking this $11 an hour job. And what I'm doing is I'm in a back room stuffing envelopes all day for 8 full hours of just stuffing envelopes. And it's depressing and sad. But I finish, and at the end of the day, the employer there decides, we no longer need you. You finished stuffing all the envelopes. You're really great at this. I was like, thanks. And so I leave, and I leave to go home, and then the next day I get a call from Anna, and Anna says, "Oh my God, that last employer raved about you. You were just so great at stuffing those envelopes. So I found this other job for you, and you're going to be making $12 an hour." And again, I was an English major, but 12, still less than 15. However, I don't want to get the whole lecture, so I said, I will take this $12 an hour job. And so this job, I was still in the back room, but instead I was in the back room of a credit union, and I had to file their tax records because they were under an audit. And to this day, I cannot tell you what happened, but I do know that that bank is no longer Googleable. Like, I literally tried to Google search for it. I cannot find it. So I'm pretty sure something shady went on, and I decided not to ask questions. So I'm in this back room. I'm filing these papers, and I'm just feeling more and more defeated and demoralized. I've tried sending out my short story packet to like all these other different publishing houses. It's not going anywhere. It's dead in the water. And as I'm doing this, I'm commiserating with other college friends of mine who are in a similar boat of underemployment. So I had another friend, Steve, and he studied film. He wanted to be a filmmaker, and he was also temping at an office. And then I had another friend, Jordan, and Jordan was an aspiring stand-up comedian. That's what he really wanted to do. And instead, the closest he got was he was working on this show called MTV's Yo Mama. I'm probably dating myself. In case you guys know what MTV's Yo Mama was, it was a show where two people would tell competing Yo Mama jokes. And I'm sure you've heard of Yo Mama jokes where it's like, Yo Mama's so dumb. She took the IQ test and she got ketchup. Like it was like things like that. And so his job was not even to be the person who tells the jokes. So it would be like someone would tell that Yo Mama joke, and then someone would go, "Oh!" And that was his job. His job was to go, "Oh!" at the end of every joke. He was very unhappy about this. But Jordan was very plugged into casting calls through that job. And so he said, "Hey, I found this casting call. We should all audition to get on a game show." And here's the thing, I love game shows. Like, if it involves people competing for a new car, I'm all in. Like, I love Prices Right. I love Jeopardy! RIP Alex. I mean, Alex, love you. I was probably one of the 12 people who still watch Classic Concentration. I watch Password. I watch Pyramid. Like, I love all of those shows. So I was super excited. I was like, yes, I would love to audition. I want to be on this game show. And so we scheduled this audition because it's a team of 3 people, and we go in and we meet with the casting director, and the casting director is chatting with us and is trying to like figure out what's interesting about us, and I could tell we're kind of losing them. And so the casting director asks, "So how did you 3 meet?" And I said, "Oh, we met at college." And the casting director is kind of looking at her watch, just trying to be like, let's get the next group of people in. And then I blurt out, "Oh, well, we met at a naked party." Which is not untrue. We did go to a naked party once. We did not meet there, thankfully, or else we would not be able to look each other in the eye. But we did go to a naked party because I went to a very like hippie college, and every semester we would have this big naked party. And to be clear, not an orgy. You just went naked, and there was a band that they would hire, and the band was naked, and you would just like be naked and like dance together. Again, it was the most wholesome hippie-ish thing ever. Like, it probably would have rained confetti, granola. Like, it was very safe, very nice, very comfortable. And so I said the naked party thing, and I saw the casting director's eyes widen, and like she really started talking to us. And I was like, I think this is a good sign. I think we got this. So we go back to our respective homes. And then a week later, Jordan emails me and he says, "Oh my God, we got cast. We're going to be on this game show." Now, the game show is this show called Chain Reaction, which reruns still air on Game Show Network. And what it is that they give you the first word and then the first letter of the second word, and it's all a reaction. So it's all about like themes, things. So, for example, if it was chain R, you guess chain reaction, and then reaction T, reaction time. So all the words relate to the previous. And we, because we're like, we really A, want to be on this show, but B, we want to win obscene amounts of money so we can quit our jobs. We start practicing. And by that I mean we had VHS tapes. I don't know if you remember VHS tapes. We would VHS tape every single time the episode aired. And then we would meet after work and quiz each other on how we would play this game so that we could be the best team we could be to get on the show. And as I'm like doing more and more of this practicing, I'm neglecting more and more of my temp work. It's getting not serious, and I'm starting to have delusional dreams about like I'm gonna be on this game show. And then I read this article about how Betty White was famous for being on game shows. So I'm like, I'm gonna be the next Betty White. Like I have gone full delusional. I've ignored all of reality. I stopped really working. And then it gets to the day before the show's gonna tape, and I walk into work and I just sit at the desk and I don't do anything, like anything at all. And the employer is like, "Aren't you gonna work today?" And I said, "No, I'm gonna be on television tomorrow and I don't need to work here anymore." And the employer is like, "Okay, that's weird." So the employer calls Anna, and then I get a phone call from Anna. And Anna says, so I hear that you're not working. I don't understand. We had this whole talk, $12 an hour. You should be grateful." And I said, "I don't need to be grateful because I'm going to be on television and I don't need this job anymore." And Anna says, "You know, this is highly unprofessional." I said, "I don't really care. You've been nothing but mean to me and I don't want this job anymore." And Anna says, "Okay, well, then you can just leave right now." And so I grab my things and I just leave the job completely. Cut to the next day. I'm like, wake up early. I have to get put on a suit and I like, comb my hair and like put on like real cologne, not Axe body spray. And I'm super excited because I go in for this taping. And I learn a lot about the behind the scenes of game shows, which is that I always thought that they tape one show a day, but they tape 5 or 6 game shows in a single day. So I was not prepared for how long the day was going to be. But at the same time, there's a good craft services table, there's hair and makeup. I'm feeling like really, really ritzy. And we get there at 7 a.m. We don't tape until the early afternoon. And we get on the stage and it's like I still can't believe like how like it's all lit up and there's an actual audience and they're like clapping and wooing and cheering and it feels amazing. And I meet the host. His name is Dylan Lane. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe a math problem. We don't ask. But Dylan's very nice. He shakes our hands. We do like a little like banter, and then we take our places at the podiums. And the theme is guys versus girls. So it's again me, Jordan, and Steve, and then these 3 ladies on the opposite sides. And so it's like, okay, are you ready to play? We're gonna do round one. So we do round one. We sweep the entire category. The girls get no points. And we're like, holy shit, we did it. Yay! And because of that, we get a bonus question. We sweep the entire bonus question. We get extra money. Killing it. We get to round two. Round two, we sweep round two as well. Win all the money. Yes. We bonus next bonus round. We win all the money in the bonus round. Holy shit. Round three, we win so much that the girls end up getting disqualified. So they are just canceled. We win everything, everything on this game show. We get to the final round, and the final round is for a bonus $5,000. We win the $5,000. Holy hellballs. I was like, this is amazing. All of our dreams are coming true. Oh my God. Betty White's going to shake my hand. She's going to come to like this random studio in Manhattan and greet me and say, now you're going to be a guest on Hot in Cleveland. That was a thing back in the day. I was like, this is going to be so wonderful. And then my dreams start to crumble because we get to the point where I have to sign the contract, stipulating, okay, you're okay with your likeness. And I thought, okay, since I'm going to sign this contract, where's the check? And the producer says, "Oh, you really don't understand how television works. You see, you don't get paid until 6 months after the show airs, not even 6 months after you complete the show. So if the show aired tomorrow, I can get paid 6 months after that. Or the show may not air for a year, and then it'll be a year and 6 months until I get all of that money." So now this poses a problem because I just spectacularly quit that $12 an hour job, and now I don't really know what to do. So cut to the next day, I call Anna very nicely. And I say, "Hey girl, so you know how I was all like, go fuck yourself? I really didn't mean that. Like, I'm just saying, I'd love to come back. I really love taxes and auditing. Can I just come back to this?" And Anna literally says, "How about I call you?" And then hangs up on me. Now, this story would potentially have a sad ending. However, what was really good was that the nice temp agency that I had worked with before called me 2 days after that and got me a great temp job doing another editing gig. And then the show aired much earlier than I thought. And so I got the check in the mail, and I remember being so happy about it. And I remember going to the bank and telling the bank teller, I was like, "Oh, I won all this money on this game show." And I sign it and I go to deposit it. And the bank teller was like, "Oh, that's amazing. Like, how do you feel about it?" And I remember saying, "I feel like I should never quit my day job." Um, and that's my story. Thank you guys so much.
Great story. Great story. Isn't it amazing how when you get into